Hi guys, so from here I want to take you through a breathing sequence or something that allow you to breathe easier and more efficiently. Most of us now breathe nowadays paradoxically, or we use our sympathetic breath, which is normally used for our fight or flight system. So if you're in a stress situation where you've just really physically exerted yourself, normally you've got to breathe through your chest and out, in and out through your mouth, which is like a panicked breath, which is useful when we need it, but we shouldn't habitually live in that system. So a way to test how you're breathing, so you take two hands, put one on your chest and one on your belly, and then from here I want you to take a big breath in. So what most people will do is, there may be activity in both hands, but normally it'll be the top hand that moves more, and we'll move up and down, so you're moving in the north and south direction. What we ideally aiming to do is to work east and west. So a way to test this, if you take an L shape, pop that just on your lower rib, and then laugh or cough to make sure you're in the right place. I won't laugh, but we'll cough. And then this should be moving out. So now when you take a breath in, you want your fingers to be moving sideways. So as you breathe in, and out. Now what most people, if somebody's done yoga and Pilates, they'll talk about taking a belly breath. The thing is with doing this, is I can cheat. So I can push my belly out and back in. I haven't actually taken a breath yet. So from here, what should happen, if this is moving sideways, as your lungs expand, they demand more space and then they move and displace your organs out, which is why the belly then moves, which is doing it the correct way. But if your belly's moving and your ribs are not going sideways, you're not doing it correctly just yet. So you take a deeper breath. So I'll take you through some exercises now that hopefully will show you how to make this easier for you. Okay, so I'm going to take you through one arm circles. So from here, you want one arm to be resting completely passive on something. So I don't want you to actually hold your arm up in the air, to be resting either on a bookcase, some other piece of furniture. If you've got someone there to help, you can rest on their shoulder. Or like what I'm going to do today, I'm going to use a pole just to rest my arm on top like so. Okay. The other hand from here, I want you to first initially make a fist, and then open your hand by one knuckle. So you're making a flat palm, and then your thumb's going to stick out. From there, you bring that out shoulder height. And then we're just going to do circles with this arm, pointing forwards. So we're going to do 30 reps. I'm going to do 15 here. So I'm going 1, 2, 3, 4. And I'm taking my arm back as far as I can behind my shoulders. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. I'm just going to turn to the side so you can see the other 15 reps. So I just move my pole, and I'm standing here. So I'll equally, as far forward as my arm goes, I want to take my hand equally back. So I'm doing the other 15. Also equally, if it goes low, I want to take it equally as high. So this is the centre of my circle. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. And then once you've done your 30, I want you to turn the hand over, and then we're going to circle backwards. So again, this way, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. I'll just show you that again from the front. So you turn, and the other 15 this way. So here in position, nice and upright posture, feet hip or shoulder width apart. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. And also remember, and remember to also now, once you've done one arm, to repeat it, to swap over and do it on the other side. Okay, so if you have issues standing, we can also then do the same exercise sitting down. So while you're seated, try to make sure you've got 90-degree bend at your hips, your knees and your ankles. Your feet are firmly planted on the floor, or if they're in footrest, whichever is suitable for you. Then from here, again, we need the arm to be completely passive and rested. So this could be up on a sideboard, a bookcase, whatever's suitable, or someone else can help you to rest today. I'm just going to use a foam roller just because it's a good height for me, and just something I've got available. And then from here again, we take the hand position, make a fist, pop the thumb out, arm shoulder height and straight, and then we're going to do our circles from here. So sit nice and tall, and we'll do 15 circles forwards. 12, 13, 14, 15. I'll just show you that from the side, so I'm just going to turn. And we're here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. And we turn the hands and we do 30 backwards. (16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. So just show you from both angles. So obviously when you do that yourself, do the 30 in one go in one arm, circling forwards, then the 30 circle backwards, and then change over sides and do the other arm. Okay, so again, if you have issues standing up, you can do this one in the seated position. Again, I'm just going to use my prop here with the foam roller. Same hand position here, so a modified golfer's grip. We're going to try and have the inner knuckles touching onto the temple. So obviously it's a bit harder for me to find where my hairline is, but hopefully you've got a full head of hair. So you want to stay off of your hair and stay on your temple, the skin on the temple here. And then sit, again, nice tall posture. Try to bring the elbow in as far as you can. And then the key part to this exercise is how far back you can pull the elbow. So you're really engaging your back and your scapula or shoulder blade and going in and out. We'll do 20 reps of these. Make sure that while you're doing this, that your body's staying still, so you're only moving the arm. The chest is staying nice and proud. So there's no head movement, there's no torso movement, nice proud posture. And I've completely lost count of how many I've done. I'm going to guess that's around 12, so I'm going to do another 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and one more, and there we go. Thank you very much. Okay, so from here we're going to take you through upper spinal floor twist, or a torso twist. You're going to set yourself up so you're completely laying on one side, hips ideally stacked vertically, shoulders stacked vertically, and you want 90-degree bend in your ankles, your knees, and your hips. From here, you don't want your head to be supported up by this, you want to try to keep it into a neutral position. So you can do this either resting on your arm completely, so I'm actually cupping my head in my hand and holding here, or alternatively you can use a pillow and rest in this position, whichever one is more comfortable for you. Then from here, as you breathe in, you're going to take your out the top hand, again, ono on your forehead, like so. Then as you breathe in, you're going to breathe out and look behind you, and you're trying to get while keeping your knees in this position, spine nice and upright, you're trying to pull your head around to bring your elbow and your shoulder down onto the floor. And then we're going to hold this position for 1 minute. So then from here, this arm can now relax because you're resting your head on the pillow. Breathe in, and then out. And we're going to hold for 1 minute. Again, as you may find with this position, is as you relax more, so every time you exhale, you may find the body just relaxes a little bit more and starts to take your head and shoulder and elbow closer to the floor. This is perfectly fine. One of the great benefits of this stretch. Also from this position, what we're doing is correctly putting the correct degrees of rotation through our whole spinal column. So the relationship between our neck, our upper back, our lower back and our hips. So we're utilising gravity to help us with our twist and correcting our posture. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and we come back. And again from here, take your time, but then you're going to turn over onto the other side and make sure you twist the other side for the same duration. If, for example, that you can't last the full minute, try to have a timer so that you know exactly how much time you spent on one side. So whether it can be 20 seconds, it can be 34 seconds, it doesn't matter. Just so you've got a record of the time and make sure you do exactly the same amount of time on each side so the body becomes into balance. Thank you. Okay, so again, if you need to do this exercise in a seated position because you don't want to lay flat down on the floor, that's perfectly fine. We can do the torso twist from here, or the spinal twist. What I want you to do is take your outside hand, so in this case my left hand, I'm going to turn to my right. I'm going to place it on the outside of my right knee. Do not let this pull your knee in, you want to sit nice and tall, feet are planted into the floor. Torso nice and upright, so it's like you've got a staff going through the top of your head through into the floor. So this way when I rotate on that axis, I don't bend or sway from here. My right hand's now going to go on my forehead, the oh-no position, not you again. We're going to go to here, elbow out to the side, chest nice and proud, and I'm going to rotate and look round behind us. I'm going to hold this position for 1 minute. From here, I'm not trying to tilt to the side or bend over, I'm just rotating from that axis and looking behind me. And we maintain the minute. Nice relaxed breathing. And what might happen, you may find that as you start to relax, as you go through the motion, you can start to extend yourself and increase the twist and go a little bit more, which is perfectly fine. So again, make sure nice relaxed breathing. Try to maintain east and west. And then also from here, maintain that nice tall posture. We're aiming for a minute, but by all means, if you can only hold 30 seconds, that's perfectly fine. But just keep track of how long you do, so you can do exactly the same time on the other side of your body. Good, we have just over about 10 seconds left. Then I'll count you down from 5. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and we come back to the centre. Remember to make sure that you go back round on the other side. So your right hand will go across, left hand on the forehead, and rotate to the other side. Thank you. Okay, now I want to take you through pelvic tilts. So what we need to imagine, if you need to feel the bones of your pelvis. So at the front you've got these 2 little nodules, and then there's also equally 2 on the back. When we're standing upright, or in this case now when I'm laying down, these want to hopefully be vertically stacked on top of each other. Then what I want to do is I want to tilt them. So I'm initially pushing the bones on the front towards my feet, which will then create a lift or an arch in my lower back, or duck bum, if we were standing upright. And then we're going to pull the other way, so now I'm going to pull these bones up towards my chest, which then flattens my back against the floor. So I'm going to roll through these 2 positions. Now it's important from here that the movement is coming from your pelvis, and you're not pushing from your legs. You're not trying to lift your chest up. The chest and shoulders stay on the floor nice and relaxed. Hips stay on the ground, feet are planted, but the legs are relaxed in this position. The hands will come out into neutral. So we're trying to keep the palms up, around 45 degrees from the shoulders. So you can do them here or here, but just for the case of this exercise, we just want to keep this down. And you also want to try to keep the neck as long and neutral as possible. If you need to put support underneath your neck, by all means do so. So you may need a pillow, or you can also, if you don't have one available, you can use your hands to rest in this position. The only thing from here, it's more likely, it's going to be a little bit harder for you to get the tuck and to flatten the back, but that's perfectly fine. And from here, I'm going to take you through 15 reps. So we're going to go into duck bum, so an arch in the back, so I'm tilting my hips forwards, and then we pull the bones up towards the chest, flattening the back, Michael Jackson position on Pink Panther. So duck bum, Pink Panther, duck bum, Pink Panther. I'm just going to go through those. If it's easier to remember, it's like I've got 2 cables attached to the bones. So now from here, the cables are pulling up towards my chest, and then they're pulling down towards my feet. Pulling up towards the chest, down towards my feet. I believe that's 15. And we'll stop there. Thank you. Okay, so just want to take you through pelvic tilt. So I've shown before, we can do this on the ground laying on your back. For those that have issues laying down on the floor, you can either do it in a standing position or a seated position. So I'll show you 10 reps standing up, and I'll just show you finish off. I'm using your ball here, but you can also do that quite easily in a chair. So from here, we're going to try to find the bones at the front of our hips. We've got 2 on the front here, and then we've also equally got 2 on the back. From this position, we're going to try to, ideally they should be in a horizontal position, or just slightly tilted forward up to 5 to 8 degrees, depending if you're male or female. From that position, we're going to emphasise that a little bit more. So I'm going to tilt the bones at the front down towards my feet. So I tilt this way, going into what I call a duck bum position, and then really exaggerate that position. I'm going to tuck the other way, so I'm tucking my tailbone under, going into Michael Jackson or Pink Panther. So I tilt forwards and back. So it's 2 and 3 and 4. And again, if it helps, if you can imagine cables attached to either side of the bones here. So now the cables are going to pull down towards my feet, and I'm pulling the cables up towards my chest, down towards my feet, up towards my chest, down, up. We'll do 2 more here. And then just to show you how that looks in a seated position, I'm just going to use the ball. So get a nice tall upright posture. So ideally your ears stacked over the shoulders, stacked over the hips. And the temptation here is to push from your legs. So try to keep your legs as neutral as you can, feet are planted on the floor, and then we've got the same 4 points. We're going to push the hips down towards the floor, which then gives us an arch in our lower back. And then we're going to push the ones at the back down towards the floor, tucking the tailbone under and rocking forward and back. This is 2, 3, 4. Right, so working through the same position. We'll do 10 here. 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Thank you. Okay, so I'm going to take you through elevated child's pose. So from this position, we're going to be on the elbows and knees. Palms are going to be down, elbows in line with the shoulders. From there, once your elbows are underneath your shoulders, I just want you to drop from your hips, your head, your chest, and the rest of your torso is just going to hang down towards the floor. So I'm hanging off my shoulders like a suspension bridge. I'm going to hold this position for a minute. So I'm just going to now turn to the side so you can see what I'm doing. Feet can either be up or they can be flat, whichever you prefer. Into this position, just slightly in front, and then we're just going to drop down off the shoulders and hold this position for 1 minute. Also, what you may find from here, if there's too much of an arch in your lower back, here you can actually then just start to tuck under. So a little bit of a Michael Jackson, just to relieve the pressure and lengthen the spine. Likewise, if you find that your back is too rounded, try to rotate the hips down like the pelvic tips we did before to bring you into this position. It's just hanging the spine down towards the ground. Also this position, if you can't come down onto the ground like this, you can also rest your hand on a surface to come higher up, and you can use a chair or anything else that's suitable, just to allow your spine, something that's strong and supportive and just allows your spine to relax down off the shoulder blades. Thank you. So as I mentioned, you can also use a stool. So I'll just show you what that looks like. So this can be a chair or anything else that's suitable. All the same, you want to bring your elbows onto the surface, palms are flat facing down. Bring your shoulders over your elbows, and you're allowing your head to sink, and your chest bone is going between your elbows towards the surface. So then here, allow that to sink, and then there's a slight natural arch in your lower back. So your belly button, your chest, your nose, your head is just pushing down towards the floor, and the shoulder blades are going up towards the ceiling. Okay, so I just want to take you through an incredible position called static back, which is incredibly relaxing, really, really good for your spine, and elongating the spine and starting to correct the alignment between the head, the shoulders, the hips. So from here you need to get a suitable block. It can be a chair, the side of your bed, your sofa, whichever you've got suitable, and you're going to bring your legs in so your hips are nice and close to whatever it is that you're using. You've got a 90-degree bend at the hip and at the knee. We're then going to, from this position, gravity will now use the weight of our legs to start to release through the back of our hips. From this position, you may find when you first start that you've got an arch in your lower back, and then from here, as you go through and you relax into the position, gravity will start to pull your spinal segments down, and this will start to elongate the spine. If you're taking your body, although it feels like you're doing nothing, you're actually opening up and elongating the spine in a very nice, relaxed position, instead of actually someone trying to physically stretch you, which more than likely what will happen is your body will guard against that position, and then you're fighting against the resistance of your muscles, where this way, completely passive, and we get a nice release from that. So we set ourselves up 90 degrees at the hip, at the knee, neck, as elongated neck if possible, and if you need to use a support, by all means you can take a pillow and just rest it behind the head from here. And the goal, I would say, from this position is, if you have to use a pillow, is over time is start to reduce the support on the neck that you've got. So also a really useful thing, if you've got access to it, is to roll up a towel or a yoga mat, and then over time you can start to make a smaller roll, and so your head will then gradually if it starts in this position being supported, starts to work its way down towards the ground and you become more comfortable in this position. From here, try and tuck the shoulder blades in so our back's flat, our shoulders, upper spinal girdle is flat against the floor, palms up, arms approximately 45 degrees, and then we're going to rest in this position anything between 3 to 5 minutes, or you can also do this as a standalone exercise up to a maximum of 10 minutes at a time. And then just sit here and relax. The biggest challenge is to try and stay awake and not fall asleep. Thanks.